Hi, my name is Sydney, and today I'm going to be talking about the Understanding Science video. So at the beginning of the video, they began it by talking about how science is everywhere around us. Science is really useful in the fact that we can take scientific discoveries and information and turn them into technologies that make our everyday life easier. So like a washing machine, our cell phone, air conditioning, things like that. Um, Although these achievements are really great for us, science is more than that. Science is a process of discovering new knowledge systematically and through trial and error. So, how that works pretty much is a scientist identifies a problem that they want to research or learn more about, and then they create a hypothesis for why this problem could be occurring. And then they think of a way to test their hypothesis using experiments. And after they have come up with a way to test their hypothesis through these experiments, they go through all the data that they've been able to collect and see if their hypothesis was correct or not. And if it's not, that's okay. We can always come up with a new hypothesis or new experiments to try and figure out a problem. Science is also about learning about the world and seeking truth and learning about how natural things around us work. Even though they may seem chaotic at first, they're really not, because everything in the natural world is it kind of follows some of the basic science rules. So if you look at it with a scientific mind, things can kind of become predictable a little bit. Science is also really special because it's one of the only fields where failure is as revered as it is in the scientific community. Failure is not looked down upon. You can learn a lot from your failures in science through experiments and things like that. And failure might even be more helpful than finding answers, because the failure can redirect you and you'll have more questions and hopefully you'll find more answers. Science is also not in the business of trying to prove something right, because even if you have a mountain of evidence this high that proves something is right, if someone else comes along, shows you some evidence that shows you that your hypothesis is wrong, it's probably wrong. And while that can be unfortunate if you put in a lot of work, that's okay, because we're trying to find the truth of things. Science is also a really social profession, I guess. Scientists are needing to be social so they can bounce ideas off of each other and create new ones and be more creative, and also just to team up with somebody if they're interested in the same thing. Who don't want an experiment buddy? Scientists also have a greater appreciation for nature than, I'd say, your average person. They definitely have a different way of looking at things. So for example, if you look at a plant or a tree outside, your normal person is just gonna see a tree, with the tree trunk and some leaves, and they might think it's, oh, that's pretty, but I see a tree every day. But a scientist would look at that tree and look at the leaves on the tree and see how photosynthesis is working to keep that tree alive and create its own food. Or they're going to look at the tree trunk and the leaves and think about the chemical compounds that make up the tree. Or look at the roots coming out of the ground and think about how the tree is sucking up water from the earth to survive. I think that's really beautiful. It's definitely a different, I think, more grateful way to look at life. It just makes things a little more interesting. I think I'm definitely going to start looking at the world in a more scientific lens, because it just seems more fun. It's a little boring just to look at a tree and be like, oh, that's a tree. Science is also a mindset. And the best way they described a scientific mindset in the video is simply asking yourself, am I wrong? I guess a lot of people don't do that. But yeah, if you're doing a problem and you just can't have absolute certainty that, yes, I'm right, there's no other possibility here, you have to kind of think about that. Like, could I be wrong? What could the other answers to this question be? So it really forces you to get creative. That's another thing that the video talked about, was how science is really creative and imaginative, a lot more than people would think. You have to really think outside of the box and have a sense of wonder of the world, kind of, to create new answers or new hypotheses for your question. But yes, I think I learned a lot from the video. It's definitely given me a different outlook, I guess, on things. But thank you.